August 2023. That was the month everything started to rot beneath the surface of what used to be a good marriage. My wife Claire told me she'd be meeting an old friend at the airport. His name was Marcus, the guy she'd grown up with, the one she'd always described as a brother. I didn't like it. Something about it made my gut twist in ways I couldn't explain. When I told her it felt wrong, she sighed, rolled her eyes and said, "You really need to stop being so insecure, James. He's just a friend. Just a friend." The words came out so easy, so natural, that even I almost believed her. But I knew better. Marcus worked for the Department of Defense in Germany. Every few months he'd fly back to the States, and every time he did, she'd light up in ways she hadn't for me in years. Suddenly she'd be smiling at her phone, staying up late texting, laughing in another room when she thought I was asleep. Still, I tried to play it cool. I'd been married long enough to know that jealousy, if handled wrong, only feeds suspicion. So I kept my mouth shut. But the silence was killing me. The morning of that airport trip, she looked stunning, a little too stunning. Tight jeans, fresh curls, perfume I hadn't smelled on her in months. I asked why she was going all out if it was just a friendly meetup. She turned, lips tight, "Because I want to look good for myself, James." Is that a crime? I wanted to believe her. God knows I did. But deep down, a storm was brewing. When she left, I sat in the driveway watching her car disappear around the corner. That was when the thought hit me. Not suspicion, not fear, but clarity. The kind that hurts. Something wasn't right. Over the next few weeks, she was distant, cold. She'd claimed to be busy, working late, or helping her sister. Her phone never left her hand, but somehow she never had time for me. Every time I tried to talk, she'd say I was picking a fight. Then came August 2025, 2 years later. She told me Marcus was visiting again. Same routine, same calm lies. This time, though, something in me snapped. When she said she'd be meeting him for just coffee, I nodded, smiled even, but the smile didn't reach my eyes. I told her, "Sure, have fun," and the moment she left, I followed. I kept my distance, tailing her car like my life depended on it. She drove straight past the airport exit. My heart sank. She wasn't going to the airport. She turned into a Holiday Inn Express. I parked across the street, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. Minutes turned to an hour. My heart felt like it was burning through my chest. I needed to know. I needed to see it for myself. Then there they were, Marcus and my wife, walking out of the lobby side by side. He was laughing. She was smiling. The kind of smile I hadn't seen in years. The kind that used to belong to me. Every ounce of doubt evaporated. The truth hit me like a hammer. Heavy, final, merciless. I stepped out of my car, walked straight toward them. "Having fun?" I asked. Claire froze. Her face went pale as if she'd seen a ghost. Marcus tried to play it cool. "Hey man, it's not what it looks like." I laughed. A dry, bitter laugh that didn't sound like mine. "Then tell me, Marcus, what does it look like?" He didn't answer. She stammered something about just catching up, about talking over coffee. But coffee doesn't take place behind hotel doors. I looked at her, really looked at her. The guilt in her eyes said everything words couldn't. I told them both to stop talking. Then I walked away before my rage did something I'd regret. That night she came home late. She swore nothing happened. She cried, she begged, she clung to me like she still had the right to. I didn't yell. I just sat there, silent, while her lies filled the room like smoke. 27 days. That's how long she kept up the act. 27 days of fake tears, false apologies, and that same tired line, "You're imagining things, James." Then finally one night she broke. Tears streaming, hands shaking, she said, "Okay, it wasn't just coffee. It's been happening for a while." I stood there, numb. Everything we'd built, the home, the trust, the laughter, gone in an instant. She tried to touch me. I stepped back. And then I said something that made her stop breathing for a second. "You have no idea what you've done, Claire, but you're about to find out." Her eyes widened. "James, what are you going to do?" I didn't answer. I just smiled and walked out of the house. What upset? When I left that house, I didn't go to the bar or a friend's couch. I went for a drive. No destination, no plan, just rage and disbelief clawing at my chest like fire. The night air couldn't cool it, she had confessed. After 27 days of lying to my face, she finally said it out loud, that she'd been sleeping with Marcus. Every part of me wanted to break something, scream, burn it all down, but instead something colder took over, a strange calm I'd never felt before. I realized something important that night. I couldn't win by yelling. I'd already lost the argument, but I could win by control, and control was about to become my weapon. The next morning she tried to act fragile, eyes red, voice shaking, offering coffee like she was trying to patch the hole in a sinking ship. "I want to fix this," she said softly. "I'll do whatever it takes." I didn't answer. I just nodded, took the coffee, and stared at her hand as she set it down. No wedding ring. That told me everything. I left for work like nothing happened, but I wasn't heading to the office. I drove straight to a friend of mine, Luke, who happened to work in tech security. He owed me a favor. I need to know everything, I said. Texts, calls, photos, whatever she's hiding. Luke didn't ask questions. Within 24 hours, he'd mirrored her phone data. The files he sent me made my stomach twist. Hotel receipts, private messages, voice notes, the kind of stuff that could destroy a marriage 1,000 times over. There it was, proof she wasn't just lying, she was living two lives. Marcus had promised her a new start once he was back in Germany. She'd been planning to fly out to visit him in September, so she wasn't just cheating, she was planning an escape. I spent the night reading every message, every "I miss you," every "he doesn't understand me." Each word felt like a dagger, but I wasn't breaking anymore. I was planning. She wanted to play games with my heart. I'd play chess with her world. A few days later, I started acting normal again. I smiled, helped with dinner, even made jokes. She looked relieved, maybe even hopeful. That's exactly what I wanted. Maybe we can go away for the weekend, she said one evening. Just us, reconnect. I nodded. Yeah, that sounds perfect. She didn't notice that my tone had changed. Calm, steady, surgical. By the end of that week, I had gathered everything. The files, the texts, the pictures, neatly packed into a folder labeled Truth. Then I went to see her sister, Andrea. Andrea had always been honest, loyal, and most importantly, she hated Marcus. I told her everything, showed her proof. At first she didn't believe it. Then she saw the messages. Her face turned white. "Claire did this?" she whispered. "Yeah," I said, "but don't tell her yet. I need her to think I'm still in the dark." Andrea nodded slowly. "What are you planning, James?" I smiled. "Something that'll make her finally feel what I felt." That weekend came faster than I expected. Claire was glowing again, wearing that same perfume, talking about healing and forgiveness. We drove to a small lake house, her idea of romance. The irony nearly made me laugh. The first night was quiet. She kept glancing at me like she was waiting for me to explode, but I didn't. I played calm. That was the new me. After dinner, I told her I wanted to show her something. I connected my laptop to the TV. A folder appeared on the screen. Our memories. She smiled faintly. "You made something for us." "Yeah," I said, my voice steady. "Just watch." The slideshow started. Pictures of us from our wedding, anniversaries, vacations, music playing softly in the background. She smiled. She looked emotional. Then came the switch. The next image was a photo of her walking into the Holiday Inn Express with Marcus. Then a text, "Can't wait to feel you again." The room fell silent. Her smile vanished. Her hands shook. "James," I didn't say a word. One by one, the pictures kept sliding. Hotel receipts, selfies, voice notes. Her knees went weak. She actually trembled. When she finally looked at me, tears streaming down her face, all I said was, "Now you know what it feels like to watch something you love die in front of you." She tried to touch me, but I stepped back. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'll do anything." I shut the laptop, grabbed my jacket, and walked to the door. "Where are you going?" she asked, panic in her voice. I turned slightly, just enough for her to see the calm in my eyes, to give you time to think about what's next. I walked out, leaving her shaking in that cabin. Back in town, I made my next move. I sent anonymous copies of the same folder to Marcus's work email. Department of Defense headquarters. Every message, every photo, every detail. It was nuclear. Within 48 hours, Marcus was under investigation for inappropriate conduct during travel. He'd lose his clearance, maybe his job. I didn't care. Claire kept calling. I didn't answer. Then one evening, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "Marcus, you think you won? You don't know what you've started." I froze. It wasn't the words, it was the photo attached. A picture of me walking out of the lake house, taken from the woods. He had followed me. That picture of me walking out of the lake house didn't just shake me, it chilled me to the bone. Marcus wasn't supposed to know where I lived. He wasn't supposed to know anything about me beyond the lies my wife had fed him. But there it was, proof that he'd been close, watching, waiting. For the first time since this began, I realized something terrifying. This wasn't just an affair, it was a game, and I had just become his favorite opponent. That night I didn't sleep. Every sound outside felt louder, sharper. A car door, a branch snapping, even the wind brushing against the window. It all made my chest tighten. By morning I'd made a decision. I wasn't going to hide. I wasn't going to let this man think I was afraid. I needed to end this. I started by calling Claire. She didn't answer. I wasn't surprised. She'd been messaging nonstop, begging me to talk, saying she was scared and that Marcus had changed since the emails leaked. She claimed he'd been calling her, threatening her for ruining his career. I didn't know whether to believe her or not. But then a second message came through, this time from a private number. It was a voice note. Marcus's voice, low, calm, cold. "You cost me everything, James. You want to play smart? Let's see how you handle losing something you love." I replayed it 3 times. Each time it felt like the walls were closing in. I knew then that this wasn't about her anymore. It was about control, his and mine. By noon, I was in my car, heading back to that same Holiday Inn Express, the one where I'd first caught them. If he wanted a game, that's where I'd end it. I parked in the same spot, waited. Minutes crawled by, then a black SUV pulled in and stopped 2 rows over. The window rolled down, and there he was. I stepped out before I could think twice. He did the same. "Long time no see," he said, almost amused. I didn't answer. I walked closer. "You've been following me." He shrugged. "You followed her. Fair's fair." His tone made my blood boil. He wasn't sorry. He wasn't even pretending. "You destroyed your marriage," he continued. "You think that's on me? You slept with another man's wife," I shot back. He smiled faintly. "She came willingly." I don't remember throwing the first punch, just the sound of my knuckles cracking against his jaw. He staggered, spit blood, then lunged. We hit the ground hard, fists and fury flying, years of betrayal pouring out in seconds. By the time a hotel security guard shouted and ran toward us, Marcus was on his knees, gasping, blood on his lip. "You're done," I said. He grinned through the pain. "Am I? You sent that file to my job, right? You think that's the end?" I froze. "What do you mean?" He laughed, a low, broken sound. "Check your email, hero." He got up slowly and limped back to his SUV. Before I could stop him, he drove off. I pulled out my phone. One new email. No sender. No subject. Just a file attached. Truth.mp4. I opened it. My heart stopped. It was footage from the lake house, a hidden camera. It showed me confronting Claire, shouting, throwing the folder onto the table, but the angle made it look different, aggressive, threatening. Then came the audio, Marcus's voice, edited over mine, saying things I never said. "You'll regret what you did. You'll both regret it." He had set me up. Within an hour, my phone started ringing nonstop. Claire's sister, my boss, even the police. Someone had filed a harassment report. It was him. Marcus had turned everything upside down. He'd lost his job, so he was taking mine. By evening, I sat alone in my car, parked in front of the house I used to call home. The blinds were drawn, lights off. Inside, Claire was probably crying again. Part of me wanted to walk in, explain everything, tell her he was framing me. But another part, the colder, wiser part, told me to wait. I had one more card left to play. I drove to Luke's place, the same tech friend who'd helped me before. He opened the door, startled. "James, man, you look like hell. I need your help one last time," I said. "He's recording me, tracking me. I need to know how." We went through my car, my phone, my email. That's when Luke found it. A small tracker taped beneath my rear bumper. German military-grade tech. Marcus had been one step ahead all along, but not anymore. We took it off, disabled it, and used it to ping his location. The signal traced to a storage unit 15 miles away. "Let's go," I said. When I reached the storage lot, it was dark. Only a single light flickered near the back. The gate was open, like he'd been expecting me. Inside, there was a single metal chair, a camera tripod, and a laptop left on a crate. The laptop screen was on, a video window open. Marcus appeared on it, pre-recorded. "If you're seeing this, James, you finally caught up. Good. You think you're the hero of this story, but you never were. You just gave me everything I needed to ruin you." Then the video cut to black. A moment later, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned, and there she was, Claire, tear-streaked, trembling. "James, he told me you'd come." "What?" I whispered. She looked terrified. "He said if I didn't bring you here, he'd release everything. The video, the emails, to your company, your family, everyone." I stepped closer. "Claire, where is he?" She shook her head. "He's not here, but he said you'd find out the truth tonight." And then somewhere behind the storage units, a loud click. I spun around, a spark, a flash. The explosion tore through the night, the shockwave throwing me and Claire to the ground. Everything went black. When I opened my eyes, the world was on fire, literally. Smoke, metal, debris. My ears rang. Claire was beside me, coughing, crying. "James, I'm sorry, I didn't know." I pulled her up, both of us limping toward the exit. The storage unit behind us was gone, flames licking at the sky. I looked down. The laptop lay half buried under rubble, cracked but still glowing faintly. One final message flashed on the screen. "Checkmate. Mem. Some say revenge brings peace, but when I saw that word on the screen, I realized Marcus never wanted peace. He wanted me broken. And for the first time, I wasn't sure who actually won.